Hey everybody, Outdoor Detective here again. So today's project, we're looking at doing a complete installation of a truck vault. This here's my 2020 Ford F250, and here's the base part of the truck vault without the drawers, and I have an 8-foot bed. The unit that I chose is the 2-drawer unit, equal width of drawers, utility height. Now these start at $25.95 according to their own book. The reason for my video today relative to a complete installation is I have to show you this. This is what the instructions look like coming directly from Truck Vault. You can see that, but that's absolutely horrible. You can barely read it. This thing must have been copied 100 times, if not more, to look so bad. Now this instruction sheet has to do with the type of lock that I have applied to my truck vault. Now I'll also show you, this is their actual application or instruction sheet for the installation. Front page advises you of the parts that you have and the tools that you'll need. Next page is an expanded view of the parts that you presently have included in your truck vault application. Next page is very minimal, as is the page after that. They'll provide you with one picture and then some minimal instructions relative to what you're required to do. But what you have to do is, as you're reading the instructions, you continually have to flip back to the expanded view to determine the parts they're referring to as to how they have them identified. So the A, F, G, B in the first part is distinguishing the parts that you have. So you have to refer back to the expanded view to see what they're referring to. I'm not happy with this at all. You think when you pay almost $4,000 for a product that they would provide substantially better instructions, if not a video that the customer can actually use for reference to install their truck vault. Now I don't believe that this is going to be a difficult installation, but I just wanted to do my own so that those of you that see the same thing that I see in the instructions have a little bit of reference relative to installing your own truck vault. Alright folks, so here we go. The first step we're going to deal with is making sure we have all the appropriate and required tools as it says in the instructions. So what we need here is a power drill, which we have. We also have a power driver, which I'm going to use. Number 2 square bit, which we have. 9/16 open end wrench, 5/8 open end wrench, and a 3/8 inch socket. Now I'm not sure if I need a shallow or deep socket, but as we get into this I'll find out. Okay, here's something also to look at. The parts and pieces that came in the left drawer that were removed go on the left side of your application, and the parts and pieces from the right side, right drawer, will go on the right side. So the way to tell is by looking at the image that they provide. You can see the slant and where the magnetic attachment is. So in this particular case, here's the part D, which is this piece right here. The cutout is to the left. The magnetic catch is top left. Part D, magnetic catch top left. So what I'm going to do before I even go any further is I'm going to take all my parts and pieces and mark them left or right. Before I even get started, I'm going to use a marker and indicate them as such. Okay, so we have our drawers out, our parts are labeled and organized, and I apologize for not showing you this one particular part, that on the underside of where the drawers slide into, there's a little rubber stopper there with a screw in it. You have to remove that stopper to allow the drawers to slide out all the way. So our next step is to add these cleats to the tie downs to the vehicle's original equipment. these are the brackets that are provided. But to get them out, the tools list does not advise you of this. But the original equipment are Torx bits. And the size is a T40. And it makes it a little bit difficult to get them out because I have the spray-in bed liner, so you have to remove the bed lining from the bolt to be able to get it out. So let me work on these a little bit. I'll remove them and I'll be right back with you. Okay, there's the first one. I had a difficult time with that because of the spray-in bed liner, getting the Torx bolts out. Now take note also that these brackets do not say left or right, but if you were to put it the opposite direction, it basically wouldn't fit in due to the angle that's put into these brackets. So they'll really only go in one way for you. And there you have it. So let me get on to the next one. I will tell you that that took me about 20 minutes to get that installed after taking off the factory bracket, and it was primarily due to just the spray-in bed liner. So if you have a spray-in bed liner, just take note of that. Okay, once you complete your brackets, the next step is on the following page. It says attach the gussets B to the ledgers C through the pre-drilled holes using the flat wood screws. All right, let me see if I can get you in here. This is gusset B that's going into the ledger, and we're using the round head screws. So let's see if we can get you. Hopefully I'm not blocking the view completely. I don't like doing that, but there we go. Hopefully you could see that. I was not sure if I was blocking you or not. But this is what it'll look like once it's installed appropriately. The pre-drilled holes through the gusset will fit into the ledger board here. The holes line up. So let me get the rest of these done on this side with the round head screws, and I'll be right back with you. Just as a side note before I put in the driver's side or left side, it does have two different sets of 2-inch screws. The ones I'm using for the gussets are what the instructions are calling round head. They look similar to drywall screws. And then there is the washer head. If you can see the difference, I'm going to put them side by side so you can see what the difference is, just that you're aware of it when you get to it. One on the left, washer head. One on the right, they're calling round head. These here, the round heads, are for the gussets. Alright, so here's another tip that I'm just reading in the instructions. I apologize for not catching this earlier. But the two face plates are to be installed with 2 of the round head washer head screws. Only the 2 face plates, driver's side and passenger side, so that would be 4 of the washer head screws, not just the round head flat ones, but the washer heads. Alright, so where we are, all the gussets are in, the brackets in, as you can see. Now all we're going to do now is lay in the wings. Now like I said in the beginning, they're labeled. Stuff in the right drawer, right side, left drawer, left side. So I marked mine right away to know which side we're on and not have a headache trying to put the pieces together. So now I'm just going to lay them in here and see how we fit. Looks like I'm off center a little bit. Yep. So you can see that I'm actually off center with the hole. See the gap in there? So that one's not going to fit either. So this side I put in, and that's already nice and tight, but there is a gap there, so I'm gonna get out of the back of the truck and move everything over towards the driver's side. So it looks all right. Nice flat surface created by the wings. It's actually pretty nice. So what we're going to do next is remove the tailgate wings, and we're going to install the turnbuckles. And the turnbuckles are installed with the jam nut, which is the one with the bolt on top, upwards, so that you can get to it. So let me get to that and we'll show you what we're doing. All right, here we go. So the last one, if you take it, again, twist it counterclockwise. I now have it hand tight. I'm going to give it about a quarter turn or less. I don't want to twist the box. I just want it to be tight. Now to do the jam nut, take the jam nut, spin it all the way down against the turnbuckle. Take your 5/8 open end wrench and your 9/16. The 9/16 is going to go clockwise. The 5/8 will go counterclockwise. Tighten that jam nut against the turnbuckle without turning the turnbuckle. We're good to go. All nice and tight, nice and secure. Let's put the wings back on and see how we feel here. Okay, so the last part of this part of the job before we get to the drawers is attaching the middle wings to the actual box itself. Now, according to the instructions, if we can see that, it actually says to use the 2-inch round head wood screws through the pre-drilled holes. The wings are pre-drilled through the carpet to accept the washer head screws. Now we already know what the washer head screws are. That's the ones we talked about earlier, which are these here. So what I need to show you is this is the back side of one of the wings. I'm hoping that you can see this. Let me tilt it towards the light, that should help. There are no pre-drilled holes. Now I'm thinking that the instructions were just written incorrectly, because so far we haven't used the 1/8 inch drill unless that is part of the drawers for the connections for the dividers. So I'm going to use the 1/8 inch drill, put my wings in place, pre-drill them, and then put the washer head screws in to the wings on both sides over the wheel well. I have 10 left, so that's 5 for each side. Okay, since we're at the end of the instructions, it tells us nothing about installing the dividers. These are the divider holders that you get with your kit. So what I've done so far is the inside of my drawer is approximately 21 inches wide. So as you can see, there are 2 marks that are about 7 inches. That's roughly the center of where I want to put the divider. So in using that, what I'll do is see if I can't put a square in here. Make sure this is standing up right. That's the center. I'll mark my drawer. As you can see, there's my marks for the screws, and now we'll do the same for the other side. Look for the center, approximately there. Make sure the square is down on the bottom. Mark it, and we're good. So we're going to put the brackets in with the really small screws that are provided with the kit. If you can see them or not. These are about 1/2 inch to 5/8 Phillips head. They look like drywall screws, really short. So we're going to put these divider ends in and see if we can't see our marks and go from there. There's our marks. Don't go fast. Don't overdo it. You'll strip the screws. Make sure the bottom one's where you want it. Now that I have it in, I'll come back with a screwdriver, make sure they're snugged up, and we're good. We'll put one more in, and then I'll do a couple off camera here. Well, this obviously wasn't done with a jig because all the holes are different. There we go. Put the bottom one in, or lined up our marks. Make sure that that's all lined up. Yep, there we go. Check them with a screwdriver, snug them up. All right, let me get a couple of these done. Okay, so here we go. So what do I think? Well, there's definitely some build quality issues here. This drawer here slides real nice. These are my 4 short dividers, the extra ones that I asked for, except for the track that's used for the dividers. 2 of them, they were not drilled and countersunk for the screws to be able to put in. So that I had to fix. The divider itself, you can see it. It's not perpendicular to the top or bottom. It's close here, large gap here. It's tilted in that direction, on the top to the right. It's definitely not square. I actually measured this compartment from corner to corner, and it's out of square, so that's a build issue. This still goes in a little bit tough at the end, if you can see this, but right here, it's going to hit that center divider. See how it moves it? That's going to be a point of failure, guaranteed. With it hitting that molding right there, you can see the marks on it already. That bothers me. Having to fix the piece of metal because the hole was stripped out, another issue. This here, I did think that maybe this was all my fault in that I had tightened one of the turnbuckles too tight and twisted the box. I checked them all. That's not the case. All of them were barely hand tight, just enough so that they wouldn't move, and I tightened down the jam nut on each one. So that's not a problem. I do like the whole top, the fact that it is completely flat, where there's no intrusion from the wheel well. And since I have a cap that's a little higher than normal, I have plenty of room inside of here to still sit up if I wanted to be inside it or to load my gear inside. So time will tell. We'll see. I'll let you know in the future. Maybe we'll do another video for a loadout of all the gear that I'm going to put in it. Hopefully this video will help someone else that has the same project putting this thing together. Let me know what you think. See you in the next video.